I did say that he was going to be a bad leader. I did try and tell you, the whole left tried to tell you this would be what would happen, that Keir Starmer's tinkering approach to policy, and in some cases just abhorrent approach to policy, would make them usher in a reform government. I did try and say this would happen. But again, like, the cost of living measures are peanuts, really. And again, at no point during this discussion of why Labour are doing badly has he mentioned the fact that they're mostly losing votes to the left.
No rush, my dear. What the hell? She talked to Jeremy again, Curtis, you lucky bastard. Do. Hey!
On the 27th of October, this council's leader wrote to the Education Minister to outline the severe financial pressures on our home to school transport function, indicating that costs have nearly trebled to £50 million since 2018-19. I want to give the leader reassurance that he has my full support in seeking to highlight this critical issue.
We're back at Warwickshire County Council, where Green Councillor Sam Jones is confronting Reform Councillor and leader of Warwickshire County Council, George Finch, over proposals to cut transport for children who live just under 5 miles from their schools, meaning potentially children as young as 8 years old having to walk almost 10 miles a day. Let's hear a bit more from Sam.
I'm confident that through cooperation, we on this council have the collective will and expertise to address this challenge. However, his specific request was for unique powers to extend the statutory walking distance, which, if implemented, would see children as young as 8 years old lose their free transport eligibility. He referred to analysis which suggested this proposal could affect 16% of families, but did so as if to imply that making as many children ineligible was almost the objective. While the leader has rightly promised to protect transport for children with SEND, he has said that for those 7,500 children without SEND who currently receive free transport, that we would have to look for what he calls a better option. It is vital that the leader provides Warwickshire's residents with reassurance over what these better options might mean for them, which is why I would ask the Chair to allow the leader to respond directly to this simple yes or no question. Will Councillor Finch please confirm that he thinks that a 10-mile round trip is an unreasonable distance for an 8-year-old child to walk to school and back?
And I'll deal with the home school transport stuff. You were talking about the letter. You've broken it down, and I'm glad you've read it, because what it clearly shows is that we will not be looking at increasing it to 5 miles. The letter does not state that at all. It's a clear suggestion.
A suggestion meaning a possibility. Just for clarification, here is that letter, stating we are currently reviewing our home to school transport policy to align our criteria with the Department for Education's guidance published in 2023, and to ensure that our focus is solely on those with statutory entitlement to transport. Clearly, the current statutory walking distance from school stated in this guidance, 3 miles for those aged 8 or over, 2 miles for those aged under 8, has a significant impact on the provision that the council must provide. So he's asking parents to consider this. Analysis undertaken by my officers suggests that by increasing the statutory distance by 1 mile, we could reduce our eligible cohort by 8%. And if it was increased by 2 miles, the reduction would be approximately 16%. Clearly, the local authority must...
You're on YouTube. You're on Twitch. Ahoy! Rejoice, comrades. Main captain. Hi. I'll wait and see if more people come in, and then we can begin with the torture that is the... What the hell is happening here? Ahoy indeed. Mwah. How goes it, main captain? God, I can hear him snoring through the bedroom. Ah, thank you. Always a pleasure to have you here, Voyager of the High Seas. Shall we continue? Sam Jones is fucking amazing, and he's dealing with the reform edicts at Warwickshire County Council. All the evidence I need to show that these people shouldn't be in government. Ah. Carry on, political
Assess
custard.
the potential impacts of such a change and undertake all necessary public consultations before making any change. However, I currently feel that our hands are tied and we need greater local flexibility to ensure an effective but efficient home-to-school service. So there you go. They want children as young as...
You have to provide that service. You get your money from the government to provide these services, and even if you couldn't... Even if that wasn't in your remit, literally one of the jobs you have to fucking do. It is morally reprehensible forcing children under the age of 10 to walk to school. I walked to my primary school because it was the 6-minute walk for me. That was my primary, so from the age of 4 to the age of 11. I didn't have far to walk. Now, if I was a Catholic, I'd literally be able to stand, which was my garden, and literally chuck a stone into the playground of the Roman Catholic primary school where I grew up in Perth. But the non-denominational or the Protestant school essentially was just a little bit further up. Didn't take me long to walk to school. My secondary school, I got transportation because I was disabled, so I got a minibus. I got taken up to school. I did have to walk for the first part of first year, so from when I started, which is basically August until after the new year. So from August to about December-ish, well, just before Christmas. I had to walk from where I lived up to my secondary school, which was 2 miles, up a rather fucking steep hill. I wouldn't be doxing myself really if I said that it's called Fairies Road and it is steep as fuck. The grading on it is basically like, it's nearly like sheer. It's an absolute bastard trying to get up if it's icy or anything. But at that point, if it was going to be like that, they usually closed the school because of the location of my secondary school, trying to force children who were basically in Latham or in parts of Tulloch who had to go to Perth Academy. We wouldn't be able to do it because we are down at the bottom of the hill and the school's right at the top of it, and making us go all the way up that fucking hill in inclement weather, especially horrible snow and icy weather. What's the point? Half of the school's not going to be able to come in because of where they actually live. There's a very valid case for actual school buses, especially from where I'm from in Perth, because of where the Perth Academy is and where the high school is as well. So it's Perth Academy, Perth High School. Being at the top of one of the biggest hills in Perth is just daft. But the high school was built in the 60s. Perth Academy was built in the 1800s because it's old and Protestant.
8 to walk almost 8 miles, maybe possibly 10, if they can get away with it. Now
Fuck
comes
off.
Finch showing that reform are no different to the Tories and Labour, as there is no magic solution to governance, just difficult decisions needing to be made to balance the books. But although Labour are providing more money to
have to
councils
provide
than the
these
Tories did
services.
when they were in
God, these
power,
people
there's
are
always
lunatics.
central government to blame.
I think
Useless.
that everyone in this room and across the county will understand that £50 million a year on taking children to and from school is unsustainable. It breaks down like this. There's 10,000...
You have to provide this, and if you want to change the remit of and the distances you have to provide the transportation for, you have to go to the fucking education secretary. You have to go to Bridget Phillipson and fucking say, we want to change this. We will still be using the money you give to us, but we want to change the parameters of it. And at that point, hopefully Bridget Phillipson isn't a fucking ghoul. You say, no, you have to provide this service. That's why you get this fucking money, to provide the transport for children. They have to get the leave of the British government to do this shit. And I will keep on pointing that out, especially to ghouls like George Finch. Gah!
Children in Warwickshire that use homeschool transport. 7,500 do not have SEND needs. 2,500 do. And that's what we will be committed to making sure they get the best care possible. Because if it's like a game of risk. If you overstretch, you won't be able to do the full task that you need to do. But what you can't do is, and what national government need to recognise, if they're going to give the local taxpayer the bill of 50 million, if the national government are going, you can pay for it, then why do we not get the full powers? This is the whole point. They put devolved powers, keep putting them down to councils, but they don't give us the full power on how to tackle them. And that's what this letter is there to recognise, and unfortunately the national government are doing exactly what we knew they'd do. They're playing damage control, they're trying to win elections, and they're not doing what's right for the residents. To answer your question, we're doing the best we can do for the people of Warwickshire.
But what of the reform promises made
No,
of
you're
better
not.
services and tax cuts, though?
And especially those disabled children with SEND needs. Thank you.
Click here for a bunch of rotten, dumb and bigoted reform councillors who haven't got a clue how to run a council.
Cool. Huh? Wait a minute. Let us see what we know. Schrodinger's Brexit.
Paul from Durham, second Brexit referendum. Could you stomach it?
It's from Hartlepool, actually, but no, we shouldn't have a second referendum because.
Wait for it. Here's Paul about to show that if he has paid attention to matters concerning Brexit in the past decade, then none of that detail has sunk in. And perhaps he's decided to rely on the right-wing press to inform his point of view. Basically, that Labour, for whatever reason, is to blame, even if they weren't in power at the time. Watch as Storm Huntley struggles to keep track of Paul's twisted logic.
The first referendum that we had, if the establishment had got behind it, this Brexit would have been the best thing that happened to this country. But everybody was against it. The Labour Party that are now saying it failed, they were the reason why it did fail, because all the Labour Party and all the establishment were against it actually working. So we haven't really come out of it.
There were Labour backbenchers who were Brexiteers. The one that sticks in my mind the most was Kate Hoey. But there were other Labour backbenchers who were Brexiteers. Just saying. Don't get me wrong, the vast majority were the Tories, obviously, because there's been a current going through the Tory party, both in parliamentary and in grassroots members and stuff, who have been very Brexit, very anti-EU since back in '74. So, yeah. But there was Eurosceptic Labour MPs and Eurosceptic Labour Party members. I voted Remain, just for clarity, because I didn't want these asshats in charge. And look, got proven right. Funny that, someone on the left getting proven right yet again. Someone on the left getting proven right yet again. Never been known, apparently. I am now Lexit, essentially. I was still wanted to get out of it because Marxist and neoliberalism sucks. So, yeah, I just didn't want the Tory party in charge of it, and yeah, look at it. I like that phrase, Schrodinger's Brexit.
Europe, really, because they're still tied up with them.
Paul, what do you think? We're increasingly tied up with them now. We're going back into relationships we had with them previously.
Yeah.
What do you think we did wrong? Presumably, you're thinking Theresa May, Boris Johnson, these characters messed it all up.
But no, it was the full establishment. Basically, they were all against it there working because they didn't want to come out. And
Boris Johnson didn't want to come out. I'm trying to. Who was it that didn't want to come out, and what should we have done differently?
Well, the establishment, meaning like the Labour Party and all the establishment.
But they weren't in charge, Paul. It was Boris Johnson. It was Theresa May.
Yeah. But the deal we got was a worse deal than what we would have got if everybody was going on the right direction.
What the hell?
But they were bringing in.
Why the fuck have I got 64
I do
people on my
understand where
YouTube?
you're coming from, but I think it was.
It was Labour's fault.
No,
Hang on. Did I get... Hello? Did you watch this one yesterday, Omaha? Rejoice, comrades. Omaha, the cat dancer. Hi. Why the fuck have I got 64 people on my YouTube? Did Helena read me? Welcome in, Raiders. Hi. No justice raid. Yay! Hello. Oh my god. This is the most I've had on my YouTube. Hello, welcome everyone. I will do my standard introduction for those of you who have not been here before. I am MadCat79 Scotty or Katie Marshall 4340 on the YouTube. I am a Scottish disabled Marxist streamer. I try to talk about health and disability and benefit issues, also politics and stuff, obviously. I'm a Scottish Green Party member and an eco-socialist. Welcome. Oh, we've got raided here. Oh my god. Hello, Fuzzmas. Welcome, my fellow Scot. Thank you. Oh, release the sausages. Hello, Mr. the Brazen. Look, Schrodinger's Brexit. Some of these callers are inconsistent when they call into Storm.
Got a terrible deal.
Now comes an example of Schrodinger's Brexit, whereby Brexit has been both a disaster because it hasn't been implemented properly and also a success, as we're doing so much better than the rest of the EU, supposedly. Surely, by this metric, then, Labour are doing okay.
Make it make sense, please.
it was partially the Conservative Party and probably the pressure from the Labour Party wanting to constantly, filibuster the courts and put additional things in, and there wasn't like a clean break. Obviously,
you don't need to do that, John. I will revert to just calling you John now. I do like it, though. Hello, Sly Loris. Hi.
We had to consider Northern Ireland. There was many things we had to consider, but there wasn't the belief system to say we need to come out properly and this is how we go about it.
But with Northern Ireland, how could we have come out properly? I mean, wasn't that something? This ready-made deal was just an absolute fallacy. It was not thought about.
It was always going to take years to get anything through. And what we're seeing now is this massive cost of living crisis where we're struggling to get basic services going and products.
That's not Brexit though, because if you look at the rest,
Brexit,
if you look at the other European countries, we're probably doing better. If you look at in terms of the GDP, in terms,
the double standard is. I guess we just have to get through this, or try to educate everyone Christmas, like I try to, obviously. But yeah, it's rather infuriating, especially for an eco-socialist like me. But yes, the double standard. Fuck off. No, you got to have your referendum. We had ours, but the amount of lies that got done in service of better together, never addressed. Still never got the full Smith Commission. I will point this out periodically. I'll be mentioning it more towards May. Watch this space. Your lass is probably going to try and kill herself covering the Holyrood elections. But I'm here for it. Just watching Anna's cry would be fucking... oh. You'll see me in fits of laughter if he fucking goes, if depending on what way he is currently list, he doesn't have a constituency. His second in command does. Hi, Jackie. Hopefully, bye, Jackie.
In terms of their economy, in terms of inflation, and then we look at the war, we look at the coronavirus. Those are the things. It's not Brexit, because that means we would be doing massively worse than the other European countries, and we're not.
All right, Paul, thank you for your call.
Click here for some more videos on the disaster of Brexit.
Okay, shall we? Apparently it's dull, but I'm curious to see what tack she went on after our Christmas holiday. I don't even know if Kenneth? I don't know. Kemi? Is that her name? I don't know. PMQs today. Well, technically yesterday. Streamed 11 hours ago. Oh, I'm not going to the Conservative homepage. Fuck off. I'll just go to UK Parliament. I'll no giving them the
questions. May I extend a warm welcome to the President of the House of Representatives of the Netherlands and his delegation who are with us in the gallery today. Prime Minister's questions. Ruth Cadbury.
Question number one, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, can I begin by saying I hope all colleagues...
Depending on what the business of the day is, there's a list. There's always 5, but there's the most that I remember on the standard list of questions. So you just say question number 1, Prime Minister. Blah, blah, blah. There's always 5 on it because the major departments and shit like that. But the most I've heard of is actually 9 in the modern era since I've started voting. So there's a list of standard questions and stuff. And the one that I had the most, the 9, was during Iraq for reasons that you can probably imagine. So there was a lot of the times when the Iraq was actually happening. For PMQs, they say the question number blah. So the top 5 year standard ones, what's happening in the major departments. So the great offices of state, Prime Minister, Chancellor, Home and Foreign.
Had a happy Christmas. It probably feels quite a long time ago now. But not for reform, of course, because today is the day that they celebrate Christmas in Russia. Mr. Speaker, on Monday I visited...
You're younger than me, Fuzmas, aren't you? The first time I voted was in 97. My MP was Jackie Bailey. Fucking hell, just end me. That's when she was still an MP, so Holyrood hadn't, well, the Scottish Parliament hadn't been resurrected, because it literally did exist before, and it got brought back to life. So yeah, that was my MP. Ugh. I was fully clued in at that point by the time the referendum happened in 2014, and I voted for independence, obviously, because I hated Westminster with a burning passion. We kept on getting governments we didn't vote for. It's been like that since forever. No, like back in like the 60s and 70s, we kind of got the governments we voted for, mostly, but since her, we've never got the government we voted for, ever. We got more representation under Blair from like 97 to about 2002-03. But from that point onwards, we didn't really like Blair or Brown. And we've never, since about the 60s, we've never voted for the Tories ever again. There's been parts of Scotland that have stuck to the Tories because they're bastards. But from like the 60s onwards, we have basically never really got the government we wanted that we voted for here in Scotland. We didn't vote for this Labour government, by the way. Glasgow went back to Labour. We went back to Labour, but we're now starting to... I've been telling this to people since the election in 2024. Don't trust them. You know exactly what they're going to be like. Was I listened to? Apparently not. But we have to get rid of the Tories. Vote SNP then. We managed to break loose of the shackles. And we went running back to them just in the blind fear of getting rid of the scum. We already had decent MPs in the SNP. They were kind of decent Scottish Labour MPs, but they've now been sidelined. They're still backbenchers, but they don't get listened to. My Labour MP is scum. I hate her. She has voted for every horrible dogshit fucking policy that has crossed her desk. She has followed the party line implicitly. I want her gone.
Reading, where I met with people who will benefit from the first freeze in rail fares for 30 years. Mr. Speaker, that's on top of other measures we're taking to tackle the cost of living. £150 off energy bills, more free breakfast clubs and raising the minimum wage. And there's much more to come this year, Mr. Speaker, as we turn the corner. Mr. Speaker, yesterday I stood side by side with our European and American allies and President Zelensky at the Coalition of the Willing.
Oh, John, those 5 were the last ones that were voted in, but there's been 2 defections who have joined the Labour ranks. Between the last one, which was the next council elections for here in Scotland are next year, 2027, so May next year. They should have both been happening this year in May, but because of jiggery-pokery from the Westminster government, you can't have your elections this year because reasons. Fuck off. They cowards. Because they knew we were going to get voted out in the 4 major cities here in Scotland. They've tried so many fucking times to capture Dundee and they've failed miserably. They've managed to get they're trying to claw their way back into fucking Glasgow. It's still the SNP administration here in Say, by the way. I can't remember. Oh, Dan would be able to tell me. Mr. McGlath, are you here? Or I can't give a duck. They would know as well. I can't remember what the administration is in Edinburgh City Council. Fucking hell. Bad Katie. Give me a second. I need to check that. I really should know. Edinburgh City Council Party. Trolling Party. Oh, it's Labour. Right. Should have fucking guessed it.
Meeting in Paris. Mr. Speaker, we made real progress on security guarantees, which are vital for securing a just and lasting peace. Along with President Macron and President Zelensky, we agreed a declaration of intent on the deployment of forces in the event.
Oh, I loved Hannah. She was brilliant. Right, okay. Thanks, Fuzzmuzz. Oh, yeah. Like I say, the council elections should have been this year as well. In fact, the Holyrood elections should have been last year, but they asked us to move it on a year for reasons. Oh, you can't have it just after a general election. Fuck off. No. That was the scum that done that, by the way, not the Labour government. The previous neoliberal bastards. So yeah, so Holyrood this year, local elections next year. I'll be covering that as well, but we'll see what's kicking. Your lass might actually try to run for council, which will be fucking mental.
Of a peace deal. Mr. Speaker, we will set out the details in a statement at the earliest opportunity. I will keep the House updated as the situation develops, and were troops to be deployed under the declaration signed.
Oh, fuck it, I've missed most of this.
Yes.
Go back. Back.
A warm welcome to the President of the House of Representatives of the Netherlands and his delegation who are with us in the gallery today. Prime Minister's questions, Ruth Cadbury.
Question number 1, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, can I begin by saying I hope all colleagues had a happy Christmas. It probably feels quite a long time ago now, but not for reform, of course, because today is the day that they celebrate Christmas in Russia. Mr. Speaker, on Monday I visited Reading, where I met with people who will benefit from the first freeze in rail fares for 30 years. Mr. Speaker, that's on top of other measures we're taking to tackle the cost of living.
We've got rid of peak. It's really helping. And our rail fare's been marginally cheaper than yours for a good few years now, by the way, here. Heidi Alexander, can you hear me? That be getting pinned. Oh God, I'm going to have to bring up my phone. Give me a minute, you're seeing behind the scenes. Give me my channel. That's getting pinned, Fuzzmuzz. Gimme. Yes, I know I'm live. I do actually hit the button to go live. Twitch. Where be it? Oh God. Gimme. God damn you. Give me my chat. Thank you. Haha. Pinned. Half an hour. 30 minutes. There we go. Ta-da!
Living £150 off energy bills, more free breakfast clubs and raising the minimum wage. And there's much more to come this year, Mr. Speaker, as we turn the corner. Mr. Speaker, yesterday I stood side by side with our European and American allies and President Zelensky at the Coalition of the Willing meeting in Paris. Mr. Speaker, we made real progress on security guarantees, which are vital for securing a just and lasting peace. along with President Macron and President Zelensky, we agreed a declaration of intent on the deployment of forces in the event of a peace deal. Mr. Speaker, we will set out the details in a statement at the earliest opportunity. I will keep the House updated as the situation develops, and were troops to be deployed under the declaration signed, I would put that matter to the House for a vote. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in the House, I had further such meetings later today.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Leaseholders in my constituency and across the country are being fleeced by freeholders and managing agents. And they need relief from both, and we need to end the feudal leasehold system. So could the Prime Minister confirm when the leasehold and common hold reform bill will be coming to Parliament?
Thank you for raising this important issue. We are taking serious action to deliver.
It is mostly freehold up here, and because there's if you buy, like, say I buy this flat that I'm currently sitting in, that I live in, the ground, the land that this property sits on is legally mine. I buy the land and the building on top of it. But with the system down in England, you buy the building, but someone can still own the land that your building sits on, which is fucking daft. So when you buy a property here, you buy the land that it's sitting on, and there's a certain percentage that surrounds the building. You can buy more land if you want when you buy the building, from who owns the land. But the land that the building is built on, which is sitting on, that comes with the building here in Scotland. Different systems up here, by the way. Seems eminently more sensible, in my opinion. The fact that you can own the building but not the land that the building sits on is just stupid. My younger sister's bestie, she was a solicitor, an estate agent, and she worked with solicitors, saying, how did that come into place? They kept it open up here so they could just swallow up great amounts of Scottish land. But there was a positive to that. So whenever you buy a building, the land that it sits on is yours as well. But down in England, it's different. You have to, whoever owns the land that the building has got built on, you have to go and buy it from them. Or they don't even need to sell it to you. They can charge you rent for using that land that your building's on. Just why? Stupid.
Homes the country needs and provide homeowners with greater rights, powers and protections. We will publish the draft bill as soon as possible, and I'll update the House. More protections, of course, are already coming this year because we passed the Renters' Rights Bill, stronger protection for 9 million renters, abolishing no-fault evictions. That's the change we're delivering, and who voted against?
Finally, you've caught up with us. We got rid of Section 21s about 3 years ago. Just before the pandemic, or just during it, or just ever so slightly before the pandemic, we've got rid of Section 21, so no fault evictions. You've been the perfect tenant, you paid your rent, blah blah blah. You've done everything that is acquired of you legally, but the landlord can literally say, "You've been good, you've been fine, fuck off." That's nice. ALAP, obviously. But yeah, we got rid of that fucking years ago. Finally caught up with us now, have you, Westminster? Well done.
It, Tories and reform.
Leader of the opposition, Kemi Bernal.
Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, may I welcome the Prime Minister's efforts to advance peace in Ukraine and his joint statement on Greenland. The last few days have seen significant international events. The US operation in Venezuela, threats towards Greenland, and an agreement to put British troops on the ground in Ukraine. So it is frankly astonishing that the Prime Minister is not making a full statement to Parliament today. No Prime Minister, Labour or Conservative, has failed to make a statement to the House in person after committing to the deployment of British troops. His comments about making a statement in due course, quite frankly, are not good enough. It shows a fundamental lack of respect for all of us here and the people we represent. Mr. Speaker, the US is Britain's closest military ally. However, we are clear that the sovereignty of Greenland is sacrosanct. So can the Prime Minister tell us what influence is he bringing to bear with the US administration to ensure that is respected?
None. Okay, no, a bit. For all intents and purposes, NATO's already dead. At least in my estimation, at least in my opinion. I may be wrong. Take what I say with a grain of salt if you want, obviously. But in my opinion, NATO's gone. I don't know. You can be fucking Reza, please. Rejoice, comrades. Reza Lindsay. Do you want to know something? That is eminently possible, which is just fucking what? No. NATO allies do not invade NATO allies, apparently. We spy on our NATO allies, obviously, especially the Americans. But yeah, you probably will. It's definitely looking more serious, let's put it like that. And we are helping to facilitate piracy on the high seas, which technically is still illegal under British law, let alone international law. I wonder how he's going to be able to thread that needle. Be fun to watch. Yet another coffin nail in his political career as Prime Minister, I believe. Hi, Reza. Happy New Year.
Mr. Speaker, let me be very clear about what was agreed yesterday, because military plans were drawn up some months ago, and I've updated the House in relation to that. Yesterday was a political declaration that sits under those military plans. If there were to be deployment, there would have to be a legal instrument. Mr. Speaker, deployment would only be after a ceasefire to support Ukraine's capabilities, to conduct deterrent operations, and to construct and protect.
He's not going to do that here. He's literally, for all intents and purposes, he's turned around to the Ukrainian people, he's turned around to Zelensky and basically the Ukrainian people. You will stick by this deal that I'm crafting for yous. You will lose part of your sovereignty and your mineral wealth will be fucking robbed from you. Either through Russian manipulation or American, with our tacit approval. It sickens me. I don't know how it's going to end well. It's don't get me wrong, there's issues in Ukraine that I have, you know. But I want the best for the Ukrainian people. I do. I don't see it happening, unfortunately. Being a bit of a realist and slightly doomer. Can't wait for Mrs. People to have it seriously challenged. Bring it on. Rather than because their days are numbered outside. Yeah, you're correct, Reza. Reza preaching the truth. How are you doing, my friend?
Military hubs. Mr. Speaker, there will be a statement to the House at the earliest opportunity. There could hardly be an opportunity. They claim they want to know about this, and they're trying to shout me down. Mr. Speaker, in relation to the House, if there were a decision to deploy under the...
You're a piss poor referee, Lindsay. You're meant to tell him to shut the fuck up. He won't use that language, obviously. Just tell him to be quiet. The defence man bringing Turkey. I'd be apprehensive about putting Turkey in, but I can see what you're getting at, Omaha. It might work, and obviously with the Five Eyes, so that's the Anglophone intelligence agency. So us, the UK, US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So that's the Five Eyes. That needs broken. We can't trust America. NATO is effectively useless at this point, really. Yes, he is a chocolate teapot. I love that phrase so much.
The agreement that was signed yesterday, then I would put that matter to this House for a debate beforehand and for a vote on that deployment. That is consistent with recent practice, and I'll adhere to that.
Mr. Speaker, why is today not the earliest opportunity? The truth is, the Prime Minister does not want everybody in this House to be able to ask him questions. So he leaves it just to Prime Minister's questions half an hour. On Monday, at least his Foreign Secretary stood up for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, it was a non-event, but at least she did that. He is scared of us being able to ask him questions.
The Foreign Secretary that she is alluding to is who you just saw, Yvette Cooper.
Yes. 6 questions. Yes, he's here.
Please. I've also requested that we do need an early statement. This House should always be informed first. So I don't like the chantering. Let the question...
They won't be allowed into the EU, Fuzzmas. They literally don't recognise one of the members. As far as they're concerned, there is no such thing as Cyprus. Unfortunately, that's basically the Turkish government's stance. It has been for decades now at this point. And that breaking point billboard that Manfrog done, there is 1 million Turkish scary Muslims waiting at the borders. Fuck off. They are never going to get in. They don't recognise Cyprus. Plus, the Balkans are still a thing. The Ottomans were kind of hated towards the end of their days. And lots of them are in the EU now, and they're still kind of apprehensive. Obviously, Cyprus say fuck off, like the southern part of the island, the bit that we safeguard. Turkey literally doesn't recognise that. They see it as part of Turkey. So I don't see that getting resolved anytime soon, really. If they're willing to change, not under Erdogan, unfortunately, I don't think. But you never know. Depends how pissed off the Turkish people get. Yeah, I don't think the EU will last much longer. Maybe I'll be nice and say 15 years. Maybe 20. But yeah. Global geopolitics do be shifting kind of violently just now, really. Kind of terrifying.
Let's continue.
Well, one of them asked that he is here. He's got no choice but to be here for Prime Minister's questions. That's why he's here. If he could skip this, we know he would do. But back to the matter at hand, Mr. Speaker. We all agree.
He does have other duties, Kemi. You do get the Christ, that'll be Lamy now. And who do they usually pick? So if Keir's away doing international things, G7, G20, blah blah blah, whatever, conferences, shit like that, it'll be Lamy that takes over for PMQs. Would it be Philp? More likely be Philp. Who's Shadow Justice? It's no her, she's Shadow Foreign. No! Who's Shadow Foreign? I can't remember what shadow position Pretty has. Is she Shadow Foreign? Yeah.
We all agree, all of us here agree, I think well, most of us here agree, that NATO is the bedrock of our security. The future of Greenland is of fundamental importance to the future of the alliance. And I am sure that the Prime Minister agrees that it is essential for NATO leaders, including and especially the US, to meet. Will the Prime Minister call for an urgent meeting of NATO leaders?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, she says she wants to hear about Ukraine. She's got 6 questions. She's not even asking a second question about what we...
When is the next... Oh, next NATO summit? July. Okie dokie. Yeah, NATO is dead. Correct, Omaha. You are correct.
Yesterday, she's got the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, in relation...
Sorry, can I help the Prime Minister? You don't need to worry about the responsibility of the questions of the opposition. That's their...
Mr. Speaker, NATO is the single most important and effective military alliance.
It's not very often he calls out the Prime Minister. Speakers normally don't call out Prime Ministers. Normally. And I will say again, there's no such thing as normal, but fuck it. God, I hate the House of Commons so much. Fucking hell.
World has ever seen. In the 18 months we've been in power, I've done everything within my ability to strengthen NATO. We had one of the strongest NATO meetings last year, the summit, where we had more members of NATO and more unity. When I arrived back to the House to make a statement, which of course she asked for, her position was I shouldn't have missed PMQs, I should have empty chaired the NATO summit. That's how serious she is about NATO, Mr. Speaker.
You didn't answer the question, Mr. Speaker. I asked him if he would call for an urgent meeting of NATO leaders. We can all see that the situation is moving rapidly. I also note that he has still not had a call with President Trump. That is concerning 4 days after the events in Venezuela. But yesterday, he announced that Britain and France had signed, he says, a political agreement to put troops on the ground in the event of a peace deal in Ukraine. So given the Prime Minister is not making a statement about that deployment of British troops abroad, one of the most serious decisions a government and a parliament can take, irrespective of what he says, can he at least confirm how many troops would be sent to Ukraine and whether they would be in a combat role?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I was with NATO allies yesterday, all day, in which we were discussing security in Europe, in particularly security guarantees for Ukraine, and we made significant progress. And I'm glad that she has welcomed that. Of course, I will speak to President Trump. I spoke to his senior advisors yesterday. We were with them all day. But Mr. Speaker, she asked me about the deployment. We released the statement yesterday. It's clear from that, but I will be clear with the House that there would only be deployment after a ceasefire. It would be to support Ukraine's capabilities. It would be to conduct deterrence operations and to construct and protect military hubs. The number will be determined in accordance with our military plans, which we are drawing up and looking to other members to support. So the number I will put before the House before we were to...
Rejoice! Red Rust 308 in the chat. Hello, my friend. Lucky you. Prime Minister's questions. Look, Keir Starmer. He is currently going through the... Who gets the most questions is the leader of the loyal opposition, Kemi Badenoch, a Conservative. And so she gets 6 questions. They're usually wanker questions. But wait, was so linkers. Oh, Reza, I love you. Everyone, go and follow Red Russ 308. Bassist. Oxygen not included enjoyer. Valheim player. Terraria as well. And currently, Battletech. Big robot laser firing things. Battletech is rather fun. Oh, Red. I was lucky. Disco Elysium was still under a tenner. I have got it now. Your lass has Disco Elysium. Watch this space. I'm getting better and better every day at playing Oni, by the way. Yay. Still making some of the basic mistakes, but learning curve, obviously. Yeah, bring on the wanker questions. Well, it's Kemi Badenoch, so fuck it. She is, her days are numbered, really. So's the party, really. The Tory party are essentially dead. Both politically and electorally. But because they are the largest, they have the second largest majority, obviously Labour in government, with the largest majority. Tory, Conservative and Unionist Party, let's never forget that. They've got 121. The next one are the Liberal Democrats with 72. I can't remember the makeup of the rest. 9 SNP, so that's basically Scottish National Party. And there's 3 or 4, it depends on if you include Rupert Lowe or not. Plus you've got like the DUP and the Alliance, so that's the 2 main ones from Northern Ireland. The DUP are fucking nutters.
But I'll do more than that. If we went as far as a legal instrument to deploy, which would be necessary,
good. Let me
I would
distract
then
you.
have a debate in this House so all members could know exactly what we're doing, make their points of view, and then we would have a vote in this House on the issue, which to my mind is the proper procedure in a situation.
I forgot my lass. Liz Saville-Roberts is from Plaid Cymru. The Welsh equivalent of the Scottish National Party, so we're both independence parties, essentially. My God. Liz Saville-Roberts is rather based. We love Liz here. Thank you for reminding me, Fuzzmuzz. What is there 3 of them? I can't remember how many Plaid MPs there are. The one that sticks out the most is obviously Liz Saville-Roberts because she's awesome.
Such as this.
Mr. Speaker, it is clear that the Prime Minister either does not have the detail or does not want to give us the detail. Yes. But this is important. He should be calling an urgent meeting of NATO leaders. He should have spoken to President Trump by now. This is important because if any...
What makes you think he has the power to do that, Kemi? You fucking lunatic. The one who usually calls the NATO emergency summits is currently being a pirate on the high seas and threatening to invade a NATO ally. Fun. Do you think he's going to be bothered with calling an emergency NATO summit? He won't be. Don't get me wrong, any member of NATO can call an emergency meeting. It doesn't necessarily mean that the rest of NATO is going to fucking listen. Especially the Americans. You alone should fucking realise that. Liz is great. Oh yeah. Yeah, so we've got Liz, we've got Stephen, praise be, and Duggan as well. I would have loved to have seen Mark Drakeford in the House of Commons. Obviously, an Assembly member of the part of the Senate. Kemi, probably, yeah. I despise
If such peace deal is breached, we would be in direct conflict with Russia. If the Prime Minister is committing troops, he must give more detail on how he intends to ensure our armed forces are fully resourced. Before the budget, the Prime Minister said it was his ambition.
Kemi, if the government want to do anything in that fucking scope, they have to put it to a vote. They have to ask the House of Commons to do that. The Lords can say shit, but they can't really pressure us. It comes from the House. It comes from the Commons. It comes from essentially the people that we vote in there. We vote yous in. Never fucking forget that. It has to be put up to a vote. And I don't see this fucking government doing that. Yeah, look at her. Oh my, is she Shadow Fort? Oh, hang on. Melstride's the Shadow Chancellor. I think Prime might be Shadow Foreign. Give me a minute. Fuck it. I'll check. Keep on pretty. Still. British politician, you know. She is. She's Shadow Foreign.
To spend 3% on defence in the next Parliament.
So if Keir has to leave because of diplomatic reasons or anything like the Neil Summit, fucking LG7, G20, whatever, the summits of whatever fucking reason, it will be the Deputy Prime Minister, who is David Lammy, who is Justice Secretary, and who's Shadow Justice? But it's usually Shadow Foreign, which will be her. It's usually Chris Philp. That whenever it was Angela Rayner, when she was Deputy Prime Minister, it'd be her and Philp. That was fun. Some of those PMQs when it was those two was just delightfully insane.
That could be as late as 2034. It is time to move from ambition to commitment. We have now had the budget. So can the Prime Minister now tell us, in what year will the UK spend 3% of GDP on defence?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, just on this serious issue she puts to me in relation to security guarantees and the American role and our dialogue with the Americans, I can assure the House I spoke to President Trump twice over the Christmas period in relation to this specific issue, along with members of the E3, along with European allies. That has been a constant course of our discussion. There's no question of acting on this without full discussion with the Americans, and their senior negotiators were there at President Trump's request yesterday and on his instructions, and they were talking to him during the course of yesterday as we negotiated. So to assure the House, because it is a serious position she's putting to me.
Apparently we're giving him diplomatic cover for what he was doing on the high seas, essentially making our government and our Prime Minister a fucking pirate. Fun. Yeah. Make it stop, please. Can I get my independence? I'm really not liking what's happening now. I just want Scotland to say fuck off to the lot of them. Fuck you. Yeah. Right. I don't know how to convert it quickly in my head. They get basically a standard MP, so a backbencher or anything that's excluding cabinet and shadow cabinet. Standard backbencher, standard MP gets just under 94,000 a year. Plus they get the second home allowances, so they live in the London area, so they can get to the House of Commons and shit like that. Plus they have money that they can use to maintain a house, the residents in whatever constituency they are in. So, yeah. I would reduce how much money they get, essentially. Either that or ban them from getting other funding streams. Just under 94,000 should be enough. They shouldn't be able to get other money from being an advisor or a technical analyst for companies or anything. Just no, fuck off. You're an MP. We vote you in to actually represent us. Your £94,000 a year should be fucking enough for yous. It is more than triple the lowest wage that people can get here in the country. And the standard, the median, it is over double that. So no, you're getting the cabinet members, like the actual cabinet, so like Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves, fucking Yvette Cooper, David Lammy, whatever, West Streeting, they're on over 100,000 a year. I think Keir Starmer's on about 190 or something. The Chancellor's on roughly the same. Same for the four great offices: Prime Minister, Chancellor, Foreign and Home. They're on basically just slightly under 200,000. I think he might actually be on about 240. And the other ones are between like 180 and 210,000 a year, being cabinet members. The shadow cabinet get added extra on top of what their standard 94,000 a year is, I think. So Kemi's probably on about maybe 100,000. Oh god, yeah, it is a cushy life. There is limits on what they can actually earn being in cabinet or in shadow cabinet. Plus they get to the independent peer review. Independent my fucking arse. They vote on their own pay increases. Fuck off. Disgusting. Workers can't do that. They can. I hate it.
On the question of security guarantees, there is nothing between the UK and the US, and we've been constantly discussing this over many, many weeks and months. We've made huge progress. I have personally spoken to President Trump about it on 2 occasions since we were last in this House. I do want to reassure her and the House in relation to that really important issue. In relation to defence spend, I'm proud that we're investing to keep our country safe, that we have increased the defence spend. That's provided for in
the target for being in NATO is 2% of GDP. We are currently on 2.8, and he says we should be spending at least 3. And if he could, he'd raise it to 5% of GDP, which is fuck off. No, Donald. We are not spending 5% of our GDP on fucking defence in service of NATO or the American hegemon. Get wrecked. I can see 3%, maybe even 3.5%. I still won't be happy about it, but 5%? Fuck off. You're mental. Seriously, 5% of GDP.
Budget. It's the biggest sustained increase in defence spending since the Cold War, and that means, Mr. Speaker...
You do realise it's been cut. Again, 14 years of austerity, thanks, and you're not changing. You've tinkered at the edges. You and your delightful purple-wearing Conrad next to you there. And she doesn't seem to be listening to John Healey, who's the Defence Secretary, by the way. He's a little bit further down. So yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's people in the government who would want to be spending more on defence, more on the military. I'm split down the middle about it, really. Sure. But demanding all NATO allies to try and spend over 3%, let alone 5%? Of 5% of GDP? No, fuck off. Fucking ridiculous. Yes. Us poor scummy proles. We need to be shown the error of our ways. Stop being poor. Do better economic policy. But no, they don't. Funny that. Oh no, they do, Red. We know this. It's actually it's been proven. Oh God, I can't remember the outlet that actually done it. It wasn't Politico. It was someone else. Oh God, yeah. Shall we continue?
Better kit, better housing for our forces and better defence as an engine for growth. Mr Speaker, that does compare to their record. Ben Wallace, who was on the radio this morning, the longest serving Conservative Defence Secretary.
He was, yeah. I can't remember, was it 4 or 5 years? Maybe 6? 4 years? Half measure at best, yeah. Capitalism is a death cult. We know this, we live under it. We keep on pointing this out to them. People like Keir, people like Donald, people like Chuck Schumer. Will they listen to us? Apparently not. Don't get me wrong, I will still endlessly scream into the void until I'm fucking heard. Will I change the dial on my own? No. But if enough of us do, yes. Numbers, people. There is more of us than there is of them, remember?
Admitted that on their watch the armed services had been, in his words, hollowed out. And our defence.
Mr Cartledge, you expect a lot, I expect something back, and that's silence. Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, they shout shame. I'll pass that on to Ben Wallace. Mr Speaker, the defence spending that we've put in place is 3 years earlier than the unfunded plan that they left behind at the last election.
Can Ben not?
Mr Speaker, I heard what? Oh, wait for it. Yeah. What Ben Wallace said,
She thinks she's being clever, doesn't she? You're not, Kemi, trust me on that one.
Said was that spending had fallen under all governments. 3%, the last time, Mr Speaker, the last time spending was at 3% was under a Conservative government.
Why would we do that? I'm replying to Omaha here. Why would we do that? European arms manufacturers are better. Don't get me wrong, there are some good American things we can buy military-wise, and we do, obviously. So do other European countries, other NATO allies. But for certain types of defence things, especially avionics for planes and better engines, they come from Europe. That's why we buy them from other European and NATO allies. They're made better. You wanted us to spending, we've done that, but you were meant to buy from us. Fuck off. Nah. For certain things, we go to European suppliers because they're better made. And they're better at what they're actually designed to do. I wouldn't trust Boeing as far as I could spit. Yeah. Plus they've done redacted TOS. Yeah. They have done things, let's just put it that way. And the way they've shaped that company since the takeover, Boeing can get wrecked. Rolls-Royce have always made better engines anyway. especially especially airplane engines, especially engines for like passenger carriers and things of that nature. So we usually buy from Rolls-Royce, which is, oddly enough, UK company, based here. Actually based kind of near me. Sense of direction, fucking useless. Over in that direction, to the west, over there. And to the southwest as well. One of the best one of the best engine production companies in the UK and Europe, possibly even in the world. Rolls-Royce is a name you can trust. And they've been based here for fucking decades. One of my best friend, her father-in-law, he's an avionics and aircraft engineer. He is retired now. He is 81. But he's still an engineer. They go and consult him because he worked for Rolls-Royce for 42 years. He started in Rolls-Royce when he was 19, for fuck's sake. Gifted engineer.
And yes, while we welcome the increase, something that we supported, can I remind the House that this is a man who sat in the shadow cabinet and tried to make Prime Minister, a man who said we shouldn't even be in NATO at all. So I don't need to take any lectures from him. The world is changing. We need to spend more on defence. He did not answer the question about when we would get to 3%, yet he knows up until 2031 how much he's going to be spending on welfare. He doesn't know. That's in the Red Book. The Red Book has no money allocated for defence.
Fuck off. You're not sacrificing people like me, putting us into the wood chipper just to increase the defence spending. Cutting benefits to actually fuel the war machine. Fuck off. No. I will counter you this on every fucking turn, so go away. Literally mincing poor and disabled people to fund our military. Not like that's ever happened in the past, of course. Imperialism and colonialism did happen, oddly enough, and it was mostly the poor people who joined the army. Employer of last resort, anyone, can you remember that? They can't actually bring conscription back, they have to put it to a vote, and it has to go through the House of Lords as well, oddly enough, for that one alone, and that ain't going to be happening. Plus, conscripts don't fucking work. You can't force someone saying, here's a rifle, here's a sidearm, here's your uniform, go over there and kill that person. You can't force someone to be a soldier. Volunteer armies do better because there's more professionalism in it. They want to be there, they get trained, they want to become a soldier. You can't force people to do that shit. That is a hill I will fucking die on. For Christ's sake, my sister's partner was in the army. And I've asked him about it. Conscripts won't work. Don't get me wrong, I've worked with conscripts before when I was serving. They didn't want to be there. They enjoyed what they'd done. They enjoyed their specialty. But actually getting forced to be there, yeah, they hated it. Volunteer armies, professional armies are better in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a warmongering bitch at all, but conscripts don't work. Unless you're the ITF, of course. But they're all fucking lunatics. Yes, I've actually covered that on a stream last year. 2 years ago now, actually, when I first started. Yeah, you can't force people to be there and doing conscripts, and especially with some of the commanders during Vietnam. Some of them were truly unhinged. And I don't blame them for trying to unalive their commander, let's put it like that. But yeah, conscripts don't work, and I'm pretty sure the Tories would want to bring it back. You can't force us. We're obstreperous. We will just basically turn round and say, fuck off. Just, no. For Christ's sake, there was people who actually volunteered and they hated their commanding officers and think things did happen. Yeah. I will not mention things. Obviously, I want to keep my channel going. You just want, yeah. Oh God, yeah. Oh, warmongering bastards. We can see it. I will try to counter it, obviously. At the behest of the global hegemon, fuck off. I really wanted to divorce ourselves from American politics. I really do. It's going to be fucking difficult. It's going to be a long, drawn-out fight, essentially. Not actual physical fighting. But yeah. Hopefully people are starting to come round to the way I'm thinking. We literally need to, sorry Red, de-yankify ourselves. I love my American comrades. Yous are amazing. I love yous. But yeah. Your government sucks. My government sucks.
We need to move from ambition to commitment. And Mr. Speaker, this is important because this isn't just about money. If the Prime Minister is deploying troops to Ukraine, those troops need to know that we have their backs. Yeah. Last week, 7 former SAS commanders, 7 former SAS commanders.
Rejoice, Natok. 2 Americans. Red Rust. Meet Natok. Fellow American. How goes it, Natok? Welcome, welcome. Hi.
Warned that Labour's Northern Ireland Troubles Bill will wreck our special forces. Not me, that's the SAS. In November, 9 retired 4-star generals warned that his bill was a direct threat to national security. And even his own Northern Ireland Veterans Commissioner has said our veterans are being treated worse than terrorists. So, Mr. Speaker, is it not madness to be putting veterans in the dock for serving their country at the same time?
For imperial soldiers. This reconciliation bill wasn't going to be that. We weren't going to name them. We were going to discipline them off record and detail what they done, what regiment they were in, but not their actual names or their service records. The parts of their service record at the behest of the British state. We need to be doing this, Kemi. Thank you. As far as I'm concerned, there is only Ireland. Oh no, we are. Fun, isn't it? We are not. Who's the bigger threat to national security? Really? You can see them here. I want independence now, thank you.
He is deploying today's soldiers into Ukraine.
Mr. Speaker, that was embarrassing. She said that Ben Wallace was talking about all government. They were in power for 14 years and they hollowed out our armed forces. Copyright Ben Wallace. Secondly, she talks about the shadow cabinet. She has in her shadow cabinet a shadow attorney general who is advising Abramovich at the same time as we are imposing sanctions on Russia and trying to use that money to support Ukraine. How can someone sit in her shadow cabinet advising someone trying to escape sanctions and pretend that their policy is to support us on sanctions? And Mr. Speaker, when it comes to Northern Ireland, they are the party that gave immunity to IRA terrorists. Terrorists who killed British soldiers. Their flawed act was struck down by the courts, which left our veterans with no legal protection whatsoever. We're introducing a fair and transparent...
red rust. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. So like, well, let's see who I can name. I'll just move you over here for a second. Right, here we go. Who have we got? Right, Chris Philp. Shadow Holmes, so that's Yvette Cooper's shadow. Mel Stride, Shadow Chancellor, so that's Rachel Reeves. I can't recognise him. I don't recognise you either. There's Kemi, Leader of the Opposition. Priti Patel, Shadow Fawn. I'm struggling to recognise some of these people. Oh, Popper, the Right Honourable Jenny. Depends on what context you ask, Red. Apparently the IRA no longer exists, but there are still factions, if you wish. Sinn Féin do still exist. They're the political arm, if you wish. But yeah, there's still Irish Republicans, obviously. Drugs. I'm struggling. So there's the three main ones. Who's that next to Philp? Christ, look at that shadow backbench. Fucking hell, look at it.
Our process with a package of rights and protections for our veterans. And Mr. Speaker, there is no equivalence between our armed forces who fought bravely in Northern Ireland and terrorist groups. And if the Leader of the Opposition wants to go back, if his position is, to their old flawed legislation...
State-sponsored paramilitaries did exist, Keir. You alone should know that. You were the legal advisor to the Police Service of Northern Ireland. You know those paramilitary forces were working, some of them were working at the behest of the British state. You know this as a fucking lawyer. I'm done. Oh, fucking hell.
And give immunity to the IRA, she should stand up now and say so.
Mr. Speaker, let me start by talking about the Shadow Attorney General. Yes. Yeah. Do they know?
State-sanctioned actions? Yes. It could be described as terrorism if you want. There's many people who have described it as terrorism on the British state. Terrorism at the behest of the British state. It could be described like that. Some people have done that in the past. Some people are still seeing it. I take a more judicious look at it. It's still imperialism. Still colonialism, essentially. It is sickening, really. I don't like it. I don't. And the fact that Scottish soldiers, part of the British Army, were actually sent over to do that fucking bullshit, that nonsense. Yeah. Bit of a stain on Scotland, really. But that was the behest of the British military and the British state. These things do exist. They have happened. Yeah, I kind of see James Cleverly there. He must be further along the bench. Oh, that's cartilage, isn't it? Fucking hell. Thanks, Fuzzmuzz. And the other one next to him's Alex Burkhart. Fuck. To be fair, it totally feels us. Yeah, it does actually, Reza. Fucking hell.
What the Shadow Attorney General is doing, he is defending veterans pro bono against the actions of this government. On this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, we will defend those who defended us. But why don't we talk about the actual Attorney General who is sitting in Cabinet, the man who defended Jerry Adams, the man who's trying to bring Shamima Begum back into the country, the man who is helping to surrender the Che.
Your government Sajid Javid made her stateless, which should be fucking illegal. She was groomed as a child. We should have brought her back here and tried her in the British legal system and locked her up here in a British jail. But no, you made her stateless, which is scumfuckery of the highest order. Do not get me started on that fucking making someone stateless. It's truly despicable. She was groomed as a child. You don't need to do that. My algorithm's already fucked. Thank you for doing that though, Fuzzmas. Much appreciated. I've got Dan McLeith. He actually goes onto the hell site for me. Much appreciation to Dan McLeith for actually going onto that fucking site. Basically dealing with fascists on a daily basis for me. Much praise to him for doing that. Sorry, Dan.
Silence. I will take our Shadow Attorney General every day of the week against his Attorney General. Mr. Speaker, we protect our veterans. I want the Prime Minister to know we protect our veterans. What he is doing to veterans is disgraceful. But this is serious, Mr. Speaker. I don't want the House to be under any illusions. I do not want the House to be under any illusions. The Prime Minister should know that we will absolutely support any efforts to help bring peace to Ukraine. We will work with him to ensure NATO remains the bedrock of our security. But we cannot write a blank check when he is also surrendering the Chagos Islands, surrendering our veterans to lawfare, and surrendering to his backbench.
Stop! Oh, fucking hell. We've still got a presence there. What the fuck? They're obsessed. They're fucking obsessed. Fuck it. I'd force her to do it. She brings them up often enough. I'd force her to show us where the Chagos Islands are. I know where they are. Because nerd. And I do actually like checking out different parts of the globe. I know where they are. Yeah. The Chagosians are still, some Chagosians are still living here in the UK. We literally made them stateless as well, but we were kind enough to say, come over here now. We still treat them like scum, which is sickening. But yeah, we literally stole their home islands from them. They've been there for millennia. Saying, no, we need to seize this for strategic reasons and in colonial fucking imperialism. Fun! God, no, not in UK waters. This is an Indian Ocean, for fuck's sake. It was basically a way station, the refueling thing. That's why we've got it.
By prioritising welfare handouts over defence spending, as if the world has not become more...
You are not going to be mincing people like me at the behest of fucking warmongering bastards like Donald Trump. Fuck off. Oh God, I'm losing my fucking mind. Help.
More dangerous. So, Mr. Speaker, isn't it time the Prime Minister changed course and for once put the British national interest first?
Mr. Speaker, she talks about the Shadow Attorney General. Of course I accept that lawyers have to represent all sorts of clients. Of course I accept that principle. The question is whether the Shadow Attorney General can sit in the Shadow Cabinet when the party opposite says it supports us on sanctions. We want the money from Chelsea Football Club to go to Ukraine. I'm not sure whether that's her position. If it is her position, presumably it's something they discuss in the Shadow Cabinet, advised by a Shadow Attorney General who is representing the very man whose money we want to send to Ukraine. If she can't see If she can't see the conflict of interest in that, then she shows no judgment and no leadership at all. The same old.
Damn.
It's a new year, but the Leader of the Opposition's got absolutely nothing to offer the country. She is totally irrelevant. Nobody is listening to her. Mr. Speaker, this is the year when on this side we turn a corner, people benefit from the decisions we made, £150 off energy bills, freezing rail fares and lifting 500,000 children out of poverty. We're turning the corner and there's much more to come.
You could have lifted the two-child cap when you came into government in 2024, Keir. You needlessly carried it on for over a year. It was only at the last budget in November that she lifted the two-child cap. Needlessly starving children for over a year. That was an actual party manifesto promise that they done. Not that I believe the manifest. Feel free to read a manifesto if you want to. I don't believe it half the time. Well, pretty much most of the time. It is fun to read them, obviously. Oh, look! Give me a minute. Look! Our future First Minister. So this is the main Labour one for Holyrood, Scotland's choice. Yeah, I'm not going to vote for you, fuck off, Annis. Look! Do you see any, other than the little badge he is wearing? Where is it? There we go. There is no red on the front cover of this pamphlet for Paul Sweeney. Warning! Look at the red! Look, 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 look! Labour, 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 Labour. I'm collecting these. First months. 18 months later. Yeah. My Scottish comrades, if you're willing to help me out, no pressure, of course. I'd love whatever party leaflets come through your door in the lead up to Holyrood. I can give you my address and you can post them, and I can give you the postage for it if you wish. If you want it. But I want to get all of them, so I've got 6. I'm going to get my mum's going to keep them for me as well, and I'll just go and collect them at some point. Oh my god. Reza, I love you so much. I love that, it's brilliant. Oh, no problem, Omaha. Self-care is good care. Look after yourself. I'll be here for a good couple of hours at least. So yes, look after yourself. Always a pleasure to have you in chat. Bye. Carry on, Keir. Fuck it.
Well, the Prime Minister can keep the good news going because he's rightly made house building and economic growth key priorities for his government. By giving the go-ahead today to the Chesterfield-Staveley regeneration route, he'll help us to deliver 1,500 houses and 5,700 jobs on land that was previously coal mining and brownfield industrial land. It's not just a road, it is a growth project. So will the Prime Minister keep the good news coming and tell us that he'll support the Chesterfield-Staveley regeneration route?
Well, can I thank him for that question? I know that he's working hard on this scheme. As he knows, land investigation works are currently taking place to help establish the final costs. The Road Minister is looking closely at the scheme alongside about 40 others. We will prioritise schemes that deliver faster journeys and unlock new homes and jobs.
Was that Toby Perkins? Thank you, Fusmas. Well, there's plenty of bell ends anyway in this august chamber. Yeah, pull the other one. There's an entire brass band on it.
Leader of the Liberal Democrats, Sir Ed Davey.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I wish you a happy new year and everyone in this House? And can I welcome the progress made on security guarantees for Ukraine yesterday? Mr. Speaker, Geoffrey Robertson, KC, is a respected authority on international law. He's also the head of the Prime Minister's barrister chambers. And he couldn't be clearer. President Trump's actions in Venezuela are illegal. He says the United States, and I quote, is in breach of the United Nations Charter and has...
He's in breach of 4 or 5 separate legal statutes, global statutes, because technically what they have done is piracy on the high seas, which is on our legal books here in the UK. Just saying. Yes, leader of the wet wipes. Hello, Sir Ed.
Committed the crime of aggression, which the court at Nuremberg described as the supreme
piracy,
crime.
Ed.
Does the Prime Minister agree with his old mentor, or has he got it wrong?
Well, there's plenty of things that Geoffrey and I have agreed on or disagreed with over the years, but let me set out our position. It is our long-standing position that Maduro was not a legitimate president in Venezuela. And so nobody, I think, sheds any tears at his removal. And what we need, what we were saying before the weekend, and we say again, is there needs to be a peaceful transition to democracy in Venezuela. Now, the benchmark of all actions of all countries is, of course, international law, and it is for the US to justify its actions accordingly. My focus is on the defence and security of the United Kingdom, and yesterday we were working with NATO allies, including the US, on security guarantees for Ukraine, and it's only with...
resting smug face. I call him the odious little prick for many, many reasons, obviously. Shut up, Wesley. What the fuck is wrong with Peter Kyle's face? Your face isn't looking too good there, Peter. By the way, that's Peter Kyle. Is he having a stroke?
Security guarantees that we'll have a just and lasting peace in Ukraine, which is vitally important for Ukraine.
Ooh. What is he saying to Nandi? You can't quite see that's Bridget, so there we go. Rachel Reeves, Bridget Phillipson, Lisa Nandy, Wes Streeting and Peter Kyle. Oh, Reza. I have missed you, my friend. I really have. Because I were the bad guys. Oh, Fuzzmas. Yeah. Yes, if you are actually asking that, Peter, yes, you are the bad guys. Just saying.
For Europe and for the United Kingdom.
Sir Ed Davey.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister just looks ridiculous when he won't tell the truth that Trump has broken international law. But turning to Donald Trump's next target, the Prime Minister was right to give the Danish Prime Minister his backing over Trump's threats to annex Greenland, and I welcome his joint statement with other European leaders. But does he also agree that if Trump does attack Greenland, it will be the end of NATO? And given that frightening possibility, does he accept that the UK needs to increase defence spending more quickly than currently planned and build new alliances with reliable nations?
Mr. Speaker, let me be the Greenland issue.
Damn. To a certain extent, I have to agree with Davey. Fuck. Don't get me wrong, I don't like the Lib Dems, and I despise Christine Jardine for many, many reasons. For more than that, ask Dan McLeith. Apparently, they have to skirt around this because that is seen as unparliamentary language, whatever the fuck that is. But yeah, You can literally turn around and say someone's anti-Semitic, but you can't call them a liar. And sometimes it's the other way round. It's fun. Make it make sense, please. Like I keep on saying, he's a piss poor referee. Lindsay Hoyle, get wrecked. Ostensibly, when he got voted in, he was Labour. He was a Labour MP for Chorley. But when you become the Speaker, you lose your party affiliation and you are the Speaker. You are no party, you are an entity unto yourself. My MP was Speaker. That's Michael Martin, by the way. And you vote for the Speaker. And as a mark of respect, whenever the Speaker is up for during a general election or a by-election or anything. Now, if it's a by-election, that means but if it's something and it's a general election, he just stands as an independent, and other parties don't usually run. But if it's a Scottish Speaker, if it's a Scottish MP who has become Speaker, the SNP, the Scottish Liberal Democrats, and sometimes, and any of the socialist-leaning parties here, Scottish Socialist Party and a couple of independents and the Mustard Even Looney Party, they always stand. Anytime that it happened when Michael Martin was a Speaker, I've always voted SNP. His moniker was Gorbals Mick. He's not from the Gorbals. He was born and brought up in the north of Glasgow, by the way. Well, northwest. So calling him Gorbals Mick, no, he wasn't from the other side of the river, thanks. But that sounds more scary. Whoa. The Gorbals were a horrible, scary place and all that fucking bollocks. Just fuck off. I've been to the Gorbals, don't get me wrong, it's deprived and everything. It's got more funding now since the SNP have been in government, oddly enough. Who'd have thunk it? But yeah, calling him Gorbals Mick and making him sound scary and socialist and Scottish, well, fuck off. He's Labour. He might have been on the soft left when he was an MP, but... eh?
Which is obviously very, very important. I thank him for raising it. The future of Greenland is for Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark. And for Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark alone. And yesterday, he will have seen that I put out a statement to that effect, along with fellow allies in Europe. And of course, NATO is hugely important, the single most effective and important military alliance the world has ever known. He keeps encouraging me to sort of tug away at parts of NATO and to choose between Europe and the US. That would be a strategic mistake for our country. And yesterday we were working with our NATO allies, including the US, our NATO ally, on a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. That will not happen without security guarantees from the coalition of the willing, backed by the United States. That's a vitally important issue, and we made progress on that. And there won't be a just...
Keir, he is not backing that. They are basically laughing at the coalition of the willing. Oh, dear God, I thought it was Bridget Phillips, and it fucking isn't. It's fucking Liz Kendall. They've both got the same haircut. Fucking hell. So look, there we go. Liz Kendall. Or 4% Liz if you wish.
And lasting peace in Ukraine without those security guarantees, and not achieving a just and lasting peace in Ukraine is not in our national interest, and that's why I'm applying so much time and energy to seeking to get that outcome.
Prime Minister, even its strongest advocates acknowledge that Northern Ireland is trapped in dysfunction, and not because reform isn't possible, but because the DUP and Sinn Féin haven't allowed it. We've become a political Hotel California where the past is always around.
Alliance? Fuzzmus, can you help me? Is she Alliance? If anyone can help me, I want to... Because she's called out Sinn Féin, Sinn Féin don't take their seats, by the way. Good for them, yeah. They've tried to encourage SNP to do the same. I'd rather we have SNP people in the House of Commons, I really do. Especially Stephen Flynn, fucking hell, bring him on. I love him. Claire Hannah, let's check. Claire Hannah, give me a minute.
But the future never arrives. There's growing public consensus that some of Stormont's procedures simply aren't working, and the SDLP has found slivers of common ground across the political parties too. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that now is the time for a structured conversation which protects power sharing but which addresses the culture of veto and decline, so Stormont might finally...
Socialist Democrat Liberal Party? So, kind of left of centre then, maybe? Somewhere in that sort of sphere on the politics scale, you know? I like the fact that she's called out the DUP because there's no lunatics.
Well, can I thank her for her question? The Belfast Good Friday Agreement is one of the greatest achievements of the last Labour government, and it enshrined Northern Ireland's place in the United Kingdom and set out, as she well knows, I know, clear principles and processes under that framework. I'm aware of the Assembly and Executive Review Committee inquiry into institutional reform, but I can indicate that we're always happy to discuss any proposals for reform which would lead to a consensus.
Gavin Robertson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Prime Minister, you will be aware of the grave concerns that abound around the Northern Ireland Troubles Bill, particularly
DP
amongst veterans, and particularly among those who stand up for and speak out for the interests of those who defend our nation. And they have read the 6 protections in the bill and they don't see them as such. They offer no protection, they are procedural, and they apply to terrorists too.
They do.
So will the Prime Minister confirm that what we have heard is true, that the Ministry of Defence and the Northern Ireland Office intend to bring forward government amendments that will specifically and particularly protect veterans, and that they will offer protection?
Well, can I thank him for his question, and I know how deeply he feels about these issues.
I'll need to pause it in case I miss anyone good. I'll be back momentarily, comrades. Damn it, come still something. Our turn. Shall we continue?
The bill, as he knows, will put in place new measures designed specifically to protect veterans. These safeguards have been developed with veterans in mind after carefully listening to their concerns. They have no respect at all, have they, for this issue? We've been meeting with veterans' organisations and listening to their views, and when the bill reaches the committee stages, the House will see the result of those considerations, and we'd be pleased to hear that. We're determined to ensure protections are as fair and effective as possible, recognising the role that service personnel played in keeping people across the UK safe during the Troubles, and I thank him for his question.
Rachel Muskell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Having met with many independent business owners, they fear the cumulative impact of the rateable value revision and relief reductions. In York, hospitality sees an average business rate rise of 41%, a music venue 44.4%, and many independent shops increases around 27%. It will mean doors closing and trade ceasing. They just can't do it. So could the Prime Minister urgently review the business rate proposals, and will he ensure a minister or official attends my business rate summit at the end of January, as I want to avert a crisis on York's High Street?
Can I thank her for raising that issue? As she knows, during COVID, the rates went down, and that was coming to an end. And that's why we put in place interim relief as we move to the new rates. Mr. Speaker, we are continuing to work with and talk to the sector on that support and what further support and action we can take.
Sir Albee.
Mr. Speaker, the period after Christmas can be a challenging time for many people, and consequently...
Maskell's a Labour backbencher, Sarah Olney's a Lib Dem.
The month of January consistently sees higher rates of suicide than at other times of the year, but suicide is preventable and lives can be saved. Education, raising awareness, targeting vulnerable groups are all effective suicide prevention strategies, and I was pleased to see them in the recent Men's Health Strategy. But I'm calling on the Government to go a step further and to launch a public health campaign to encourage discussions about suicidal thoughts and ideations. So will the Prime Minister agree to continue this conversation with me, and will he state his support for a public health campaign to tackle the worryingly high number of deaths from suicide in this country?
Can I thank her for raising this issue and assure her that we want to work with all colleagues across the House on this crucial issue, and it's in our interest to do so. We did, as she said, launch the first ever men's health strategy, announcing over £3.5 million into supporting suicide prevention support programmes, recruiting over 7,000 mental health workers, including access to talking therapies, rolling out mental health support teams in schools. It is vital that we raise awareness and increase the support available, and I can assure her ministers would be happy to discuss her proposals with her, because I genuinely want to work across the House on this really serious and tragic issue.
Masterson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was very pleased to hear that the government's latest announcement about the rollout of the chickenpox vaccine. This, of course, is in stark contrast to the vaccine conspiracy theories being peddled by Reform. Does my right honourable friend agree that it is only with a Labour government that healthcare in this country is safe, and that Reform must never, ever be in a position to be responsible for the health of this country?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm very pleased about the measures we're about.
Oh, right, thank you. I'm doing well, actually. Not as bad weather-wise here. It's been sub-zero. Cold, not good. It hasn't been, it's had a light snow. Technically, this is now Thursday. And Monday and Tuesday, we had a light dusting, if you wish. But it didn't get compacted and turn into an absolutely slippery nightmare. But it's still been kind of cold. It's been like sub-zero for most of this week so far. But not too bad. But because of the cold weather, my feet and my ankles and my right knee have kind of swollen up. Walking is fun. My right foot particularly is ballooned up again. But other than that, I'm doing quite well. I was meant to be going up to see my mum and my lovely niblet, but the conditions up in Perth, because they did get a fair bit of snow and it is now compacted and it is a slippery fucking nightmare. My mum's car got sideswiped. It was parked. They were in their house and a delivery to the neighbour next door. I will not say what company it is. They literally, because of the road conditions and the gritting in the area for where my mum lives, wasn't that great. So it kind of skidded and went right into the passenger side of my mum's car. She sent me a photo of it. Yeah, it's going to need to get filled. But the delivery company are going to have to pay for that because Mum literally wasn't driving. It was just parked outside the house. And they're... Oh no, she wasn't hurt, she was fine. Cars do love to slip and slide. And the fact that they're not gritting it that well, Perth Council are usually quite decent about gritting the roads. But they actually missed the little cul-de-sac that my mum lives in. So the scratch right down the side is more than the scratch. It was like this wide. It was like 3 or 4 centimetres, about just slightly under an inch, right down the passenger side of our car. It looks a mess. Luckily, my mum's just like a matte black car. The paint on the car's just like a matte black, essentially. So it should be relatively easy for them to fix that. And they need to take it to the panel beater as well because it got kind of dented a bit. On the passenger, the back seat part, the door there, the actual passenger side of the car didn't get dented, but it still got scratched the fuck out of. So yeah, the delivery company are going to have to pay for that. So my stepdad's taken over and doing that, dealing with the insurance companies and everything. Next door neighbour, who's got the same name as my super hubby, so I'll not say their name, just the mother neighbour. And the wife as well, when tapped on my mum's door, said, can you come here a second? Because when they went and opened the door to get their delivery, the neighbour noticed it and said, holy fuck, Katie's mum's not going to be happy. And they went tapped on the door. Can you come out here a second? What happened? Delivery driver sideswiped your car. We'll pay for it. I said, no. Whatever delivery company will pay for that. It's just mad. I showed my super hubby. He said, fucking hell. Oh, and more slight insurance news. Because of that piracy on the high seas, if it's unflagged, that means it's a pirate. If it's got a flag of any description, there's usually flags of convenience. Most of your global freight is flagged under 5 major nations, one of which are us, oddly enough, and our overseas territories. The one that got seized by Tangerine Ballbag or Tangerine War Criminal was flagged under a flag of convenience. It doesn't get registered as a Russian flag. Essentially, it's a flag of convenience. They're mostly in the Caribbean and some Far East ones as well. Most likely former British in colonial areas. Funny how that happens. So if it was piracy, if that was actually a pirate vessel that they seized, it'd be fine. It can be claimed as like spoils of war or stopping piracy on the high seas, but it was flagged. And the only way you can get insurance for actually being a freight carrier on the high seas is to be registered even under a flag of convenience or a standard flag from whatever major country you want. So you can get registered with Lloyd's and have insurance if anything happens on the high seas. And that vessel was flagged. It was a flag of convenience. And it was still registered with Lloyd's of London, which is the major insurance. It takes too long to fucking explain that. It was basically flagged and had insurance to make sure if anything does happen, it will be covered for whoever owns it in whatever country it's flagged under. So with Donald doing that and us giving tacit cover for it, that is actually piracy. Fun. I'm literally governed by fucking pirates. Fun. Make it stop.
Able to announce this week. Of course, that comes on top of the 5 million extra appointments that we've delivered in the first year of a Labour government, and 300,000 taken off the waiting list, and more to come as we turn the year into 2026. But he's absolutely right. They laugh at the denial of the importance of vaccines. Imagine where this country would be if they ever saw power. And if you want an example, or to be like, look at the local councils where they won power. They're absolutely chaotic, in a mess, and putting taxes up.
Peter Bedford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Unlike many of his parliamentary colleagues, I don't actually think the Prime Minister should resign. But with the start of a new year, it's time to reflect, reset, detox, if you will, on his government's appalling economic policies and tax rises, particularly business rates and the impact it's having on the hospitality sector. Now, will the Prime Minister commit to doing that today?
Mr. Speaker, I'll reflect on the fact that inflation is falling, and the Bank of England says that it's going to be down to target. I'll reflect on the fact we've had 6 interest rate cuts in a row. Mortgages, those with mortgages will be hugely effective. I'll reflect on the fact the IMF say we're going to have the second highest growth in 2025, defying the forecast. And I'd remind them that under
starting from a lower base due to 14 years of fucking austerity, we are still not back to what we used to be before the fucking scum came into power in 2010. We're still not back up to what we could have been under her. Don't get me wrong, the growth forecast for when she was in power were better than what they are now. We were starting from a lower base because the previous party in government were scum and defunded the entire fucking nation. That's why we've got the highest growth, because we're starting from a lower fucking base. Yes, along with the Lib Dems. Fun. I hate them. The leader of the Scottish Liberal Democrats is Alex Cole-Hamilton. He is list, I believe. Yes, he's list. Do they have any actual MSPs? Constituency ones, I can't remember. I think they all might be list. I will actually check, is Alex Cole-Hamilton list, or does he have a constituency? Alex Cole-Hamilton. Oh my god! No, he has an actual constituency. I'm sorry, Alex. I thought you were list. So he actually has a constituency, which is Edinburgh Western. Oh, he's been in for a decade. Oh, fucking hell, that's a small majority, considering. Oh, for Christ's sake. He's only 2 years older than me, fucking hell. Speech therapist in marine archaeology. Wow. Sort of inorganic chemist. Oh my god. Oh, politics and international relations, oh Christ's sake. He was president of the Students' Representative Council for a year. Okay. Okay.
Then we had inflation at 11%, the worst parliament on living standards on record, and the leader of the opposition thinks that Liz Truss was 100% right to crash the economy. They're literally the only people who think that anybody should be listening to them. Nobody is.
John Baxter.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Adrian Howe was a successful and dedicated Vodafone store manager of over 20 years. In 2017, he was offered the opportunity to take on a franchise of one of their thriving stores. But then the goalposts changed, and he was then forced to take on a struggling store. And just days before he was due to open that store, Adrian stepped into a lake and didn't ever return home. Adrian's wife and widow, my constituent Tracy, is wondering if the Prime Minister will review franchising legislation to ensure there is a balance of power between companies and the franchisees so that nobody else feels undue pressure when they take on a franchise.
Can I thank her, and I speak for the whole House in saying I'm deeply sorry.
The franchise model needs fixed desperately. It's been needing fixed for the last sort of 20-odd years at this point. The vast majority of fast food restaurants and mobile phone shops and vape shops are franchises. And the way a franchise works is heavily weighted against the franchisee, not the franchiser. It should be the other way round. We should be protecting the franchisee who takes on the responsibility of actually running the establishment, the shop, the outlet, whatever way you want to describe it. But it is weighted more in the favour of the large conglomerate, not the individual. It is fucked up, as always. Who'd have thought it? Capitalism sucks.
Sorry to hear about this tragic case, and all of our thoughts are with the family. Obviously, there's a live legal case I can't comment on, but I can reassure her that we'll look closely at the final outcome of that case. There are strong rules in place, but we will look at the outcome of the case to see whether there's more that can be done.
Alison Griffiths.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Late last year, the cargo vessel...
It does actually happen. Every now and again. I do appreciate it when it does happen. By the end of the day, she's still Labour. But some of the Scottish Labour backbenchers are relatively decent, I guess. Still don't like the Westminster government with a burning passion, obviously. But some of them can be decent at times. Yeah. I will take the win where I can get it.
16 containers of the beautiful West Sussex coastline. Beaches and seas in my Bognor Regis and Littlehampton constituency have been polluted with toxic debris. The clean-up was initiated and led almost exclusively by resolute local volunteers. So will the Prime Minister join me in paying tribute to all those involved for their extraordinary efforts? And will he, or the relevant minister, meet with me to ensure that the coastline is restored and that local taxpayers will not pick up any costs?
Well, let me...
Nationalise the water companies! I think that's all I really need to say. Ours is nationalised, it works well. Some of the best water in Western Europe, oddly enough. The fact that it's in private hands and people have actual water meters. Fun. Yeah. I hate it. Nationalise them, for fuck's sake. Who's DEFRA? I can't remember who's DEFRA. I'm sorry to rely on you to do this for me, Fuzzmus. Can you see who's in charge in DEFRA? I should remember, but I can't. If you can do that for me, I'd really love it. Oh God damn it! You've said her name. Elron, where be you? That's Elron's MP, by the way. Is she oh fucking hell! Another reason we need to get rid of her. Fucking amazing. More ammunition for us. Ugh.
Join her in paying tribute to the agencies and the local volunteers who supported the clean-up efforts. They're the very best, and I do pay tribute to them and join her in doing that. Liability sits with the polluter, and agencies and her local authority should work with the responsible party to recover the costs. I will make sure that she gets the meeting that she has asked it for with the appropriate minister.
Ian Hamilton. Mr. Speaker, I recently met with bereaved constituents who lost their babies at Leeds Teaching Hospital's NHS Trust. Now, understandably, their confidence in the system is at an all-time low, and they want answers about the circumstances in which at least 56 babies and 2 mothers have died in recent years. So will the Prime Minister update the House on what steps he is taking to ensure that an inquiry uncovers the factors which led to these deaths, to confirm Donna Ockenden as chair of that inquiry, and to join me in...
We're already doing a review up here in Scotland, by the way. Thanks. You seem to be forgetting that one. Thank you. We've been investigating these for the last 8 years, by the way. These things do happen, unfortunately. My mum keeps a close eye on it. My mum's a former midwife and family planning sister. Oh, nurse. She keeps an eye on it every now and again. She's still got colleagues. My mum's retired now. She's in her 70s. And she checks in with people that she used to work with. People who are my age, who are still midwives and family planning nurses. And she checks in every so often. Or they call up my mum and say, the blah 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 has happened. And this is how it's progressing. Thank you. I will let my daughter know. Because she is interested as well. I like to educate people, especially about health concerns. Oh. Thanks, Fuzzmuzz. I'll get on to that after this then. Thank you kindly.
Paying tribute to the courageous families campaigning to ensure that nobody has to suffer the same tragedy again.
Yeah. Well, can I start by saying every mother and baby deserves safe, high-quality, compassionate care. And I want to see the inquiry at Leeds start as soon as possible. We're working with bereaved families to shape our approach and to appoint a chair who they can trust, as he knows. I have a huge amount of respect for Donna Ockenden. She's an outstanding advocate for families. We'll make sure that we select a chair of the highest standard who has the independence and expertise needed to deliver the real change that is needed.
Angus MacDonald.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, according to the Office for National Statistics, 174,000 people under the age of 35 moved abroad in the year ending June 2025. In the Highlands, this problem is especially acute. Demographic statistics show that young people are not staying in the rural communities. Pupil numbers are down by 40 to 50% in the schools over the last 20 years. Rural depopulation and youth emigration are two sides of the same story. Lack of opportunity. We have a demographic crisis.
I think he might be
What is the Prime Minister doing to ensure the UK offers strong apprenticeship and skills pathways for young people? And does he agree that the SNP's failure in Scotland, diverting away 170 million intended for apprenticeships and skills development, shows exactly what happens when opportunity is not delivered?
Well, can I thank him and tell him, alongside the record settlement that we put in place for the Scottish Government, we're delivering huge investment in apprenticeships and offer a paid placement for every young person, which is vitally important.
We've got apprentices up here. They're just modelled differently than from what Westminster wants us to do. A lot of you seem to keep on forgetting that shit, by the way. Thanks. I'm getting fed up of getting sidelined like this. You're just making us more angry. Saying you keep on demonising us. Some of the best things have happened in this country. We've made people more aware of what is possible because of the policies the SNP have enacted here in Scotland. And you keep on rubbishing us for your own party political gains. Fuck off. Don't get me wrong, I've got issues with the SNP. But they do actually represent us better than Westminster does. They do. I will argue this till the end of the day. So, yeah. So, yeah. Oh, God. That's Christine Jardine, by the way, sitting next to him. I don't recognise this one. I know what constituency he is now from that question alone. Nahila Shah, by the way, so it's West Wales.
The SNP, on the other hand, blocked a welding facility in the Clyde because apparently it was related to defence. They don't back Scottish industry, young people or national security.
We are trying to clean up the mess of 14 years of fucking Tory scum fuckery, and you're not making it any fucking easier, you bastards. Our block grant is still down on what it was before the bastards got in charge in 2010. Alright, you've given us more money. We're still down on what our funding used to be. Thanks. We're trying our best with what we get from the Treasury. Thanks. And we're doing a damn sight better than the rest of the fucking country because of it. Thank you, the SNP. Oh, God, I'm getting frustrated here. Fucking hell. Yeah, they keep on having... Yeah, thanks, Fuzzmuzz. I want to change the narrative. Is that possible? I'm trying my best here. I want my country to thrive. I think we're doing marginally better. The UK as a whole, fucking basket case. Thanks, Labour. Thanks, Rachel, as well, for that one. And Liz Kendall. And the fact that Glaswegian ghoul is now in charge in Caxton House. Get wrecked, fuck off. I hate Pat McFadden with a burning passion. He is not Scottish as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't even have a Scottish constituency. Wolverhampton South East, by the way. So, in kind of near Kevin. Oh, God, no. Is he another foreign implant? Fuck off. Right, fuck it. At least Alistair Carmichael is Scottish. Still don't like the bastard. At least he's Scottish. Oh, by the way, Alistair Carmichael is a Scottish Liberal Democrat, and he represents Orkney and Shetland. He's a wanker. Ding, 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 ding. Please, I don't want foreign implants. I want Scottish. Right, fair enough. Some of them are ghoulish. I don't care. If they're Scottish, fine, fair enough. They can be Scottish ghouls. I'm fine with that. But putting foreign implants from like England and shit like that, no, fuck off. No. You don't know the local area. I don't care how long you've been living and working in there. If you were implanted there in your either late 20s or early 30s, you weren't born and brought up there. You don't know how it works there. So, fuck off. Stop doing these fucking implants. I have issues with Dougie Alexander and Ian Murray. They're Scottish, but they're Scottish bastards. I can deal with them easier. I know how to speak to these people. I don't know how to speak to a foreign implant who is put there for political reasons. They don't know what it's like here in Scotland. At least Ian Murray and Douglas Alexander do. My MP does. She was born and brought up here. Still don't like her. Same with Jackie Bailey and Anna Sarwar. I know how to speak to these people. The foreign implants from England and Wales who come up here at the behest of like either the Lib Dems or Labour or the scum. And what about anything about you? Why? Why do they keep on doing this to us? Fuck off. We don't want those bastards. Just fuck off. Composure. Calm down, lass. You might be seeing me lose my shit more often. Just saying. Sorry. Fuck it, let's finish this.
We do.
Hancock.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This government is tackling patient waiting lists through NHS modernisation and reform. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that we need to tackle victim waiting lists by reforming our courts and criminal justice system?
Prime Minister.
Yes, I do, Mr. Speaker, and I've been working with victims of violence against women and girls for the best.
Morgan McSweeney, question. There's only been a couple of them. It's usually stacked, but he's probably still getting back into the swing of things after the festivities, if you wish. Don't worry, the next PMQs is probably going to be loaded with Morgan McSweeney questions. There's only been 3, which is odd. I'm used to it being like 7 or 8.
Part of 20 years, and I've assured them time and again that if we get the opportunity, we would make the system work better for them. They have to wait far too long for justice, and in many cases they don't see justice at all. I'm absolutely determined that we're going to turn that around.
Final question, Winnie Bourne.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister promised not to bulldoze the countryside, but under Labour, green fields in Aldridge Brownhills, Donald Road, Birch Lane and Bosty Lane are now under threat. Will he
Tory
accept that his housing target can be met without destroying our farmland and our countryside, but by
Go back a minute. Oh, look at the poor Mark. By the way, that is Mark Francois. Look how defeated he is. Hi, Mark. The poor little lost Tory. He used to be a major figure. Now he's been relegated to the backbenches since 2019, really. He looks so dejected. Good. I'm glad he is. Francois, fuck off. It's funny seeing him look that depressed, really. You chose this career. Hell mind ya. This one here. This one. I don't recognise her.
The countryside, but under Labour, green fields in Aldridge Brownhills, Donald Road, Birch Lane and Bosty Lane are now under threat. Will he accept that his housing target can be met without destroying our farmland and our countryside, but by reusing empty homes and brownfield land, or was this just yet another promise he never meant to keep?
We're not going to plough through farmland. We're going to make sensible proposals to build houses, something they failed to do in 14 long years. So young people now have not got the dream of home ownership because the inheritance we got from them, we're going to turn that around.
Right, that completes Prime Minister's questions. Let the front bench change over.
kind of torturous, I guess. Oh, it's from the National. Speaking voice. Hello. Rejoice, you're going to be... Oh, no. Fuck. Can I get it? Oh, fuck it. Intermission. Phasmas, I do apologise. It's not letting me carry on with my payment to get my 3 months. It's not recognising my card number. That is weird. I'll try to see if I can actually read it. Give me a minute. Without having to actually pay for it. Ah, bugger it. So we've done PMQs. The other thing on my stream title was chaos. Fuck it. Beer. You know what? I like... Helena isn't live. She raided me. Videos. There we go. I like this one.
Obviously talking about Nicolas Maduro, who has been in court in New York today. He has described himself as a decent man. Do you think he's a decent man?
He's the president of Venezuela, and the issue is the illegality of what the United States have done. It isn't whether he's a nice man or a bad man or a good man or whatever. The question is, international law does not allow one country, even the USA, to go in and kidnap the president of another country. If they do that, how are they going to complain if anybody else does the same anywhere else?
Let me take on both of those things if I can. It does matter, surely, if he's a decent... I mean, is he a friend of yours? Would you describe him?
I've met him. I was interviewed by him on a television programme many years ago while I was at the UN Human Rights Council, and he was deputy to Chavez, as you know, and the country has obviously had enormous problems, not least because of the huge level of sanctions by the USA on it, and that has created a lot of problems. Now,
would you describe him as a friend, though, or an ally?
I mean, this is literally them doing the "you called Hamas friends" thing, and I'm just like, this is irrelevant. Why is Jeremy Corbyn's relationship with Nicolas Maduro in any way relevant to the legality and or illegality of the United States kidnapping him on charges of owning machine guns? What is this? Come on. I'm sorry. It is incredible that Jeremy Corbyn has this mind ray, apparently, that he puts on journalists to make them act like stupid idiots, you know? Where suddenly there's something about Jeremy Corbyn as a person that means the interviewers just ask the dumbest questions possible. And he's not even necessarily a friend with Maduro. And literally, all he's done is meet him a couple of times because he was Chavez's deputy.
I don't know him well enough to be able to say that.
OK. The reason I say this, you say it doesn't matter whether he's a decent guy or not. I mean, this is from Amnesty International. You're an internationalist.
Oh, hang on a minute. He said it doesn't matter. Other people's opinions on his conduct in government, again, I think it's bad. I think corruption is bad. I think being anti-democratic is bad. I think economic mismanagement is bad. Doesn't give anybody a right to go and kidnap him and take him away, you know? David Cameron economically mismanaged this country. David Cameron was corrupt. Does that mean that Barack Obama should have just, invaded the UK and captured David Cameron? No. Yeah, literally, Corbyn derangement syndrome in full display here. The Sky News is owned by Comcast SD.
Amnesty is an important organisation, saying that last year after the president election, 24 people died as a result of the government's repression. 2 of the victims were children, and 1 was a police officer. There's been arbitrary detentions and unfair trials. Now, let's park aside what the United States done for a second. Surely it's a good thing that he's not president of Venezuela anymore.
But that should be...
He is not a nice guy.
But that should be a decision for the people.
So true. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter whether or not you think it's good or not. Why are you parking this conversation? Why are we having this conversation at all?
Of Venezuela, not a decision for the US president, who is not interested in human rights. He's interested in oil.
Can you bring yourself to say that he's not a nice guy, that his regime has killed people?
Literally, do you condemn Nicolas Maduro? This is where we're going, right? Like, the Corbyn derangement syndrome is so real that they're literally asking him to condemn Nicolas Maduro before we have a conversation about whether or not it's okay to kidnap foreign heads of state, right? Like, there are plenty of other dictatorships that also treat their citizens badly. Should the Sultan of Brunei be captured by Donald Trump? Come on, please.
I read the Amnesty report, and obviously I was very disturbed by what was in it. And I've also read a great deal and met a lot of people who've described the...
Oh, God. Didn't move that back. Oh, God. Sorry about that. I'm fine. Yeah, I get muscle tremors, and sometimes they are kind of violent. Oh, God damn it. I need to fix everything now. I do apologise about that. I hope that sudden loud noise didn't hurt anyone or upset them. My legs are prone to violent outbursts due to my nerve issues. So my right leg, it kind of spasmed, and it kind of shot up and hit the desk, and everything just went toppling. I'm fine, don't worry about it. It just unsettles me a little bit. I hope everyone's okay. Don't worry about me, I'm fine. These things do happen more frequently now, unfortunately. I do apologise. Is everyone okay? I don't do it deliberately, honestly. Sorry about that. We'll go back to the beginning, because that was rather violent. There we go. Oh, thank you, Red. Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry. No lasting damage. These things do happen, and I just need to deal with them. I'm all good now. I've actually repositioned my table a little bit here, my desk. Hi. Mwah. I'm fine, don't worry. I'll just get myself repositioned. Give me a second. There we go. Back up a bit. There, that'd be better. Hi. Hello. Again, I do apologise.
Jeremy, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Obviously talking about Nicolas Maduro, who has been in court in New York today. He has described himself as a decent man. Do you think he's a decent man?
He's the president of Venezuela, and the issue is the illegality of what the United States have done. It isn't whether he's a nice man or a bad man or a good man or whatever. The question is international law.
Stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Take your meds if you need to take any. Stay based. Free Palestine. And counter the neoliberalism that's happening in your area. And if you ever see a fash, educate them. Don't put yourself in danger, obviously. Bye, Fazmaz. Love you. I'll catch you later.
Does not allow one country, even the USA, to go in and kidnap the president of another country. If they do that, how are they going to complain if anybody else does the same anywhere else?
Let me take on both of those things if I can.
Good point.
It does matter, surely, if he's a decent... I mean, is he a friend of yours? Would you describe him as a friend?
I've met him.
you do not go around blackbagging leaders of other democratically elected countries. No, it's not right, to say the least. Sorry to be a bit of a downer on you, Donald, but kidnapping democratically elected leaders, at least in the world's eyes, is kind of, maybe. Yeah, you don't go literally kidnapping the leaders of countries. It is not the done thing. Whatever the done thing is. This is good, Northern. And piracy on the high seas. Fucking amazing! I hate the fact that my country is cut to fucking America. Red, you do not need to say any which way you want to. You can decline as always. No need to say anything at all. How do you think this is going to play out with the kidnapping of Maduro in your own American perspective? Again, you don't need to say any which way if you want.
I was interviewed by him on a television programme many years ago while I was at the UN Human Rights Council, and he was deputy to Chavez, as you know, and the country has obviously had enormous problems, not least because of the huge level of sanctions by the USA on it, and that has created a lot of problems. Now,
would you describe him as a friend, though, or an ally?
I mean, this is literally them doing the "you called Hamas friends" thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is irrelevant. Why is Jeremy Corbyn's relationship with Nicolas Maduro in any way relevant to the legality and or illegality of the United States kidnapping him on charges of owning machine guns? What is this? Come on. I'm sorry. It is incredible that Jeremy Corbyn has this mind ray, apparently, that he puts on journalists, make them act like stupid idiots, you know? Where suddenly there's something about Jeremy Corbyn as a person that means the interviewers just ask the dumbest questions possible. And he's not even necessarily a friend with Maduro. And literally, all he's done is meet him a couple of times because he was...
Thank you, Red. Thank you. I'll be keeping an eye on it. Not a close eye, but keeping an eye on it to see how this progresses. He appears in court on St. Patrick's Day in the Southern District of New York. I'll be keeping an eye on it, obviously, and so will other UK streamers and American streamers, obviously, as well. Oh God, yeah, it's going to be a kangaroo court of the highest order. We know this. Fun times, everyone. Fun times. How do we stop this? You don't go around kidnapping foreign leaders. No. Just no. Oh God, yeah. Unfortunately, yes. What I'd really want to happen is for Chuck Schumer to be up for re-election this year. He isn't, unfortunately. And the ones who are up for re-election are pretty inconsequential, really, in both the House and the Senate. Don't get me wrong, there is a chance that the Democrats might actually get majority in both houses. We'll wait and see, obviously. I really like for redacted, so would I. What drugs all the fish boats are blowing up? How do you see this turning out, Natok? I feel for yous all. I do. I love my American comrades with all my heart and soul, but fucking hell. Things need to be changed. Desperately. Just saying. It's just... kidnapping foreign leaders, piracy on the high seas, and literally trying to buy out or bully NATO allies into giving over sovereign territory. Fuck off. This has already happened in history in Europe. He does realise this, doesn't he? Well, probably he doesn't. So fucking depressing. I'm here to counter it. Obviously, I will try to educate the best I can. Helena is better at it than me, and so is Kevin. Praise be Kevin Logan.
Chavez's deputy.
I don't know him well enough to be able to say that.
Okay. The reason I say this, you say it doesn't matter whether he's a decent guy or not. I mean, this is from Amnesty International. You're an internationalist.
Oh, hang on a minute. He said it doesn't matter. Other people's opinions on his conduct in government, again, I think it's bad. I think corruption is bad. I think being anti-democratic is bad. I think economic mismanagement is bad. Doesn't give anybody a right to go and kidnap him and take him away, you know? David Cameron economically mismanaged this country. David Cameron was corrupt. Does that mean that Barack Obama should have just, like, invaded the UK and captured David Cameron? No. Yeah, literally, Corbyn derangement syndrome in full display here. The Sky News is owned by Comcast SD.
Amnesty is an important organisation, saying that last year after the presidential election, 24 people died as a result of the government's repression. 2 of the victims were children and 1 was a police officer. There's been
Thank you, Red. I tried to make this a safe and welcoming place, a place of education, showing the hypocrisy of especially the global hegemon, my government, the American government, parts of Europe as well, the Chinese government as well to a certain extent, and Canada, blah blah blah. I try to point out the inconsistencies, let's say, and the downright blatant bullshit that happens at the behest of the global hegemon. Really, just no. I want my independence, please. I hate Westminster. I have a burning distaste for Donald Trump. The GOP and the DNC can get wrecked. And Chuck Schumer, go away. Thanks. School marm. Maybe not a marm. I wouldn't be classed as like a headmistress, which is the UK or Scottish equivalent, or a principal. Senior teacher, really? Maybe slightly marm, possibly. Friendly, open, welcome space here for all discourse, obviously. If you get too egregious, I will time you out for like a minute or something. But mostly, I am quite good. And if any anti-vax or any sort of chud people come in, they bonk. Just piss off. Don't get me wrong, I have some centrists. I have some Sock Dem people, and they appreciate the education that I'm giving them. They enjoy what I say, and show them other ways of promoting policies that they love. I am all here for that. But if any sort of right-winger or chud or even outright fucking fascists appear, no, fuck off. Bonk. Get wrecked. Get the fuck out of my channel. I have no time for fascists. I'm dealing with them on a daily basis online, so no, fuck off. Don't get me wrong, in some ways I do invite it, calling myself a Marxist and an eco-socialist. I'm fine with it. But if they get too egregious, don't get me wrong, I do like playing with them. Again, I shouldn't play with my food, I shouldn't, but damn it, I can't help myself. Trying to educate these people is rather fun at times, because they don't get how subtle my sarcasm can be. Don't get me wrong, I am overtly sarcastic at times, most of the time actually, but I can be subtle, and they don't realise that I'm actually taking a dive at them. They mostly be American actually, oddly enough. better education system, maybe? That might help. Just saying.
Arbitrary detentions on unfair trials. Now, let's park aside what the United States done for a second. Surely it's a good thing that he's not president of Venezuela anymore,
But
given
that should be,
he is not a nice guy.
But that should be a decision for the people.
So true. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter whether or not you think it's good or not. Why are you parking this conversation? Why are we having this conversation at all?
Of Venezuela, not a decision for the US president, who is not interested in human rights. He's interested in oil.
Can you bring yourself to say that he's not a nice guy, that his regime has killed people?
Literally, do you condemn Nicolas Maduro? This is where we're going, right? Like, the Corbyn derangement syndrome is so real that they're literally asking him to condemn Nicolas Maduro before we have a conversation about whether or not it's okay to kidnap foreign heads of state, right? Like, there are plenty of other dictatorships that also treat their citizens badly. Should the Sultan of Brunei be captured by Donald Trump? Come on, please.
I read the Amnesty report, and obviously I was very disturbed by what was in it. And I've also read a great deal and met a lot of people who've described the terrible economic...
For clarity, Jeremy Corbyn's wife is a Mexican and human rights lawyer, and a journalist and human rights lawyer as well. Same sort of trajectory as Keir Starmer was in his early years. His wife is fucking amazing. I love her. She does such good work. And she knows like the Central and Southern America because she's Mexican. And she's amazing.
situation that Venezuela faces. And so there's a twin set of problems there that have to be addressed. Now, if the US was serious about dealing with human rights abuses, which they are not. They're not anywhere in the world.
Yeah, but are you? That's my point.
Of course I am.
Well, you have to. Why didn't you say categorically he was a pretty evil dictator?
You seem to be trying to move this whole conversation away from the reality of what Trump has done. Invaded another country.
If you answer the question, if you condemn him, I'll move on.
Of course.
Sorry, what? I'm so. He literally said, "Do you condemn Maduro?" I'm sorry. What the fuck are we talking about? Because Corbyn is right. They're trying to distract from the reality of the illegal kidnapping of Maduro, just like they tried to distract from the genocide in Gaza by saying, "Do you condemn Hamas?" Like, yeah, Hamas do bad things. Maduro did bad things. Who fucking cares? That's totally irrelevant to this discussion.
The human rights abuses are wrong. Of course they are. I've always
Helena's
said that.
right,
I've never
by the way.
supported human rights abuses anywhere, for that matter.
Okay, so let's take on your second point then, which is this is from the Human Rights Foundation, again another widely recognised international organisation. It says that last year's election was patently fraudulent, and that is the agreement of lots and lots of organisations and countries. Nicolas Maduro is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. He stole that election last year.
That is the assessment made by quite a lot of...
Oh my god! What the actual fuck is this interview? That was Omaha. Praise be Omaha, being based everywhere. Thank you, Omaha. Can't answer. What the actual fuck is this interview? Good point. Yeah. Trump's aggressive... who's that? Oh, it's Ozan. Trump's aggressive expansionism should be a major alarm bell for Europe. He's talking Greenland, Mexico, and a bit Canada again soon. Yes, Ozan. Yeah. What the hell is with that guy? Is he being told to grill him just this one point? Yeah, apparently. Who's that? Is that you, John? I think that might be John. Oh no, it's Shallow. It said the Shallow. Thank you, Sid.
Organisations. It's not the assessment made by everybody in Venezuela. There are people who clearly do support Maduro and still do support Maduro. That is.
Do you think he's the legitimate
president?
president?
You seem to be trying to move the whole conversation onto protecting Donald Trump. You're protecting Trump.
Well, your party is claiming that he needs to be returned back to Venezuela. That he is the legitimate head of government. That he is the president.
Constitutionally, he is the head of government.
Well, I'm saying to you that in 2019 and 2021. 2024.
Who are we to decide?
Well, it's not we. It's lots of international organisations who follow these elections, lots of democratic countries around the world say that President Maduro stole that election.
And lots of countries around the world are now, today, saying that what the US has done is illegal, is wrong, and is a violation of all aspects of international law. Why don't you concentrate on that as well?
What we can do...
Well, no, because you keep making other points to try and justify it, right? Again, this applies to so many leaders. This applies to Vladimir Putin, for example, you know? But Vladimir Putin is a big country with a big military, not a small country with a small military, so we don't have this conversation.
Bubble.
Like Vladimir Putin, not legitimately elected, there were irregularities in terms of the presidential election in Russia. There are irregularities in loads of different fraudulent elections. Look at Sisi in Egypt, right? Despite the fact that he's only in government because of the fact that they wanted to overthrow Mohammed Morsi at the behest of the West, right? Like, what precedent can we set? Very right, Davinia. If we just go, well, this head of state was bad, even if it's constitutionally correct that he's there, so we have to get rid of him.
Well, you're not getting to that.
Well, we are.
I'll pause it. Davinia, and these journalists obviously agree with these international organisations when they call what's happening in Palestine a genocide. Yes, Davinia, well done. Praise be Davinia Robbins. Praise be. I love her desperately. Oh God, have I missed? Things happened. What just happened? Gimme. Ah! There we go. I've still got people. Hello everyone. Hope we are all doing well. Let's carry on.
You clearly don't think the US's action was justified. You
of course not.
It's not justified in any fucking way, shape or form. What the fuck, man?
It's a clear point of violation of every aspect of international law. And even governments that were not terribly supportive of Maduro, Latin American governments, Chile, for example, which was actually quite critical of Maduro, they have joined with other Latin American heads of state in saying this is absolutely wrong. Look at the statement made this morning by Claudia Sheinbaum, President of Mexico. Again, they weren't without criticism of Maduro, but they've said quite clearly this is an attack on all of Latin America that's gone on. And this is a very, very serious day in international affairs when the biggest armed country in the world, the USA, decides international law doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's the thing, right, is that all of the questioning around do you condemn Maduro, do you condemn Hamas, do you do this, do you do that, why didn't you say that him being gone is a good thing? All that is there to do is to essentially character assassinate Jeremy Corbyn by saying, well, you support his politics, therefore you can't be a neutral arbiter over whether you think that there is a case to be made for the toppling of the regime. And I'm just like, no, how I feel about Maduro, how I feel about the regime, how I feel about the economic policies of the Maduro government is not relevant to the conversation around international law and the right of America to depose people that it doesn't like. All of this is irrelevant, but the character assassination is there to launder Donald Trump's reputation by saying, well, the only people who oppose this are people who love Maduro anyway. It's people who love dictatorships, it's people who love corruption who are against Trump, and therefore Trump is in the right. That's the laundering that's going on here very, very specifically.
And I've let you make that point, and it's a very important one, and there are many people at home and many people in Westminster who will agree with that. All I'm asking you is, do you think he's a thug? I think you're kind of suggesting he probably was a bit of a thug. My main question, though, is whether he was and should be recognised as the president of Venezuela, given the fact that many, many people, many well-recognised international organisations and countries say he has stolen not just one, but two elections.
He is recognised as the president of Venezuela.
He's not by this
can I
country,
finish? By a vast number of countries around the world, including
Iran,
this country,
Russia.
including this country, which maintains diplomatic relations with Venezuela at this very moment.
And again, they don't say this about any other country with electoral irregularities. Again, I'm perfectly willing to concede that Maduro probably did interfere in the election. I don't think that's necessarily something that is unrealistic to say. But the fact that it's just specifically Venezuela that people will call on these electoral irregularities to make sure that there's regime change shows you just how cucked everyone is to the United States. There are plenty of other countries where there are electoral irregularities where we don't talk about this, where there isn't a constant desire for the Venezuelan president to be toppled and be replaced by someone friendly with the West. And it's because of the oil reserves. No one cares about illegitimate presidents of countries in Africa, for example, where the elections weren't fair. No one has cared enough to want to support very specific opposition leaders to put them installed as interim presidents, like Juan Guaido, for example. No one does it with any of these other countries, but they do it with Venezuela because of the oil, very specifically, right? And people condemned, for example, Robert Mugabe cheated in the election. People condemned him. It was never the central focus of international policy. No one thought, oh, well, we have to find a very specific interim opposition leader to try and force the hand of the government to resign.
Praise be. I forgot about that. Mix Vivian Wolf. Everyone, go and follow Mix Vivian Wolf. They be awesome. I love Viv. They are amazing. I've forgotten her pronouns. Is she, her? Viv, if you can hear this, if I've misgendered you, please educate me. I'm sure she's she, her. She, they, maybe? Oh, by the way, no need to do this whatsoever. Pronouns, she, her. Obviously, very basic, bitch. I have family members who are non-binary. I've got to get out with my niblet. She, they, for me. I keep on misgendering my little sweetie. I'm so used to calling her, her. She relies on me and stuff. I miss her desperately. Technically they, them, but I've got she, they. Thank you, my sweetie. Thank you so much. They, them for you, isn't it, Red? Praise be, they, them. Praise be, Red Ross 308. In fact, give me a second. Carry on, Helena.
But they do it with Venezuela because of the oil, specifically. And that's always been the case. It's just now that there's this new dynamic that exists because of America's desire for Lebensraum, essentially, right? But the undermining of the premiership in Venezuela, specifically that they don't do in other countries, is because of their geopolitical significance and their petroleum significance. And also, weirdly, we never talk about the fact, as has been pointed out in chat, that when the USA interferes with other elections, which makes them irregular, no one never comments on that. I loved how when it's not serious. Hey there, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you like and leave a comment. That helps the video out in the algorithm. If you subscribe and ring the bell, it'll let you know when I go live. I stream every day on YouTube and Twitch. You can also follow all of my socials down in the description. And if you want to support me in a more financial manner, there's a join button for membership to just 99p to be a member on YouTube, as well as a Patreon, and there's some merch there as well. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.
What the fuck? Give me a minute. What the fucking... Come back. Ah! Come back. What the fucking...